Okay, so imagine, you're just scrolling through social media like you do, every day, and you see a picture of a friend's kid, maybe at a birthday party at the park. Just a normal picture.
Yeah.
Seems harmless, right?
Yeah, totally.
But what if that picture, that seemingly, just like completely normal picture of a kid, ended up, in the hands of somebody who you wouldn't want to have it?
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
It's a scary thought. And that's what we're going to be talking about today and diving deep into this whole disturbing world of child exploitation on social media. And we're going to be focusing on a particular case that's gotten a lot of attention recently. It's a TikTok mom, Jacqurlyn, and her 4-year-old daughter, Wren.
This case has really struck a nerve with people, and it's understandable, right? It raises some tough questions about, where's the line between sharing our lives online and, when does it become dangerous for the kids?
Yeah, for sure. So for this deep dive, we're primarily looking at this podcast episode from Seriously with Annie Elise, and she interviews Dr. Leslie Dobson, and she's a clinical and forensic psychologist who's worked with violent offenders for a long time, and specifically pedophiles.
Yeah, Dr. Dobson's expertise is invaluable here. Having that firsthand experience working with these individuals, I think it gives us a really unique and a chilling perspective into how they think and, what we can do to protect kids.
Yeah, that's a great point. So let's start with Jacqurlyn and Wren. Who are they, and what is this controversy all about?
So Jacqurlyn started posting videos of Wren on TikTok back in 2019 when Wren was just a baby.
Oh, pretty typical.
Yeah, really typical stuff,
Yeah.
cute baby stuff,
Mhm.
silly outfits, everyday moments, the kind of stuff you see all the time from parents online.
Right.
But as Wren got older, the content kind of started to change a little bit.
It's a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, when does it cross the line?
exactly. And it's hard to pinpoint when exactly it happened. But she started posting videos of Wren, eating corn on the cob or foot-long hot dogs, but the camera angles were kind of suggestive.
Oh, wow.
And, close-ups in these videos started getting a lot of attention, some of it not so positive.
Like that.
Yeah, and it's alarming how quickly something seemingly innocent can turn into something, that attracts the wrong kind of attention.
Especially on a platform like TikTok, where it's just millions and millions of people.
Exactly. And what's really concerning is even with some of the negative comments that she was getting, Jacqurlyn kept posting similar content. It actually kind of escalated.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So there's this one video that's gotten a lot of attention. It's called the swallowing gum video.
Yeah.
I guess Wren, accidentally swallows her gum and looks right at the camera with this scared expression and is like, is that okay?
Yeah, and this video is particularly disturbing because a lot of people think it was staged
Really?
to get a certain reaction. Wren's fear in the video is so obvious. And it really makes you question, what was Jacqurlyn doing behind the scenes? How is she directing her? It's the kind of content that could be really easily misinterpreted and misused by someone with, bad intentions.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the only one. There are other videos where Wren's mimicking adult behaviors, like putting on lotion makeup or even pretending to shave her genitals and use a tampon.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really troubling because it's blurring the lines between, childhood innocence and adult sexuality, and that's really dangerous, especially considering how many people could be watching these videos.
Yeah, we're talking about a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So what happened? I mean, was there a response?
There's a huge public outcry. Thousands of people on TikTok started making reaction videos, calling Jacqurlyn out, urging her to take her daughter offline.
Wow.
A lot of people were accusing her of exploiting Wren for views and money.
That's crazy. And what did she do?
She deleted some comments, blocked critics, and even posted a video saying that she talked to the FBI, and they said there was no evidence of Wren's images being on, any inappropriate websites.
Oh.
But then Annie Elise, the host of Seriously, she countered that and said she had personally seen videos and images of Wren on platforms like Telegram and Discord, which are known for having, some really bad stuff.
So is Jacqurlyn completely oblivious to the danger, or is she just choosing to ignore it?
Yeah.
For fame and money? It's hard to know.
Yeah, it's a tough question. It seems like there's a real disconnect between how she sees her content and how it's being received by a lot of people.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question in this whole case, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Dobson has a lot of experience working with pedophiles. What does she say about how predators might view and use this type of content?
Well, she talks about her experience in secure facilities working with pedophiles, and it's really eye-opening. She talks about how these individuals would collect images of children from sources you wouldn't even think of, like newspapers, magazines, even if the pictures were totally innocent, like kids in bathing suits or school uniforms.
Oh my gosh.
They'd use these images to fuel their fantasies, creating stories in their minds.
That's so disturbing. That it's
Yeah.
so easy to access this stuff, even for people who are supposed to be under strict supervision.
And that's why it's so important for parents and guardians to be really careful about what they share online. Even pictures that seem harmless to us could be seen and used in really disturbing ways.
Wow, we've covered some really heavy stuff today so far.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far? What stands out to you?
It's that disconnect we've been talking about. Jacqurlyn thinks it's all innocent fun, but others see it as exploitative and dangerous. That's what's so fascinating to me.
Yeah, and that's what makes this case so complicated. You've got parental perception, online fame, the danger of child exploitation. It's like all these things mixed together.
It really highlights the need for more awareness and being careful when it comes to protecting kids online.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll be talking more about that when we come back.
Before we go any further, I think it's really important to talk about like the impact all of this can have on kids like Wren, psychologically.
Right, it's easy to get caught up in, like all the drama and stuff. But we can't forget about, a kid is involved here, and it's a real person with feelings.
Yeah, and Dr. Dobson talks about how growing up with this kind of attention, especially, the wrong kind of attention, can have really serious consequences. It can really mess with their sense of their self-image and make it hard to form, healthy relationships.
And like anxiety and depression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really sad to think about, what Wren might have to deal with later on in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's like the whole dark web thing.
Oh, yeah. Once those pictures and videos are out there, it's basically impossible to control where they go. They could be shared, sold, and even used to, track down the kids in real life.
That's terrifying. Like, how do you even prevent that?
It's tough. Dr. Dobson suggests that parents be really careful about what they post online, like really think about, what you're sharing, who can see it, and if it's even necessary to post pictures of your kids at all.
So it's more about being proactive rather than reactive.
Exactly. You don't want to wait for something bad to happen.
Right.
You got to be ahead of it. She also talks about how important it is to talk to your kids about, online safety, body boundaries, and how to interact with adults, both online and in person.
I feel like those conversations can be so awkward, but it's so important.
It is.
Yeah.
You got to give them the tools to protect themselves.
Yeah, and parents should also be aware of what their kids are doing online, right? Like monitoring what they're watching.
Yeah, use those parental controls, keep up with the latest trends, all that stuff. And if you see something that seems off, report, we all have a part to play in keeping kids safe online.
And there's been some movement towards stronger laws to protect kids online, right?
Yeah, some states are banning those childlike sex dolls, and there's more pressure on social media companies to do more, to keep kids safe.
So hopefully things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a constant battle, but at least people are starting to pay attention. Now, going back to those dolls, Dr. Dobson had some interesting things to say about, the whole debate about whether they actually prevent or encourage pedophilic behavior.
It's a tough one. Some people think they provide a safe outlet and prevent people from harming real kids, but it sounds like Dr. Dobson disagrees.
Yeah, she doesn't buy it. She says there's no evidence to support that idea and that they could actually make things worse, normalize those desires and even lead to more harmful behavior.
It's like giving someone permission to steal something small so they don't steal something big.
Yeah, exactly. It just doesn't make sense. You have to address the root of the problem.
Right. And then there's the whole AI thing, which is pretty scary.
Oh, yeah. AI can be great, but in the wrong hands, it can be really dangerous.
And it's developing so fast, it seems like every day there's something new to worry about.
I know. And Dr. Dobson brought up this really disturbing trend of using AI to create, exploitative content.
Can you imagine, like, being able to create these realistic images and videos without even needing a real child?
It's terrifying, and it's already happening. AI is being used to create child pornography on a massive scale.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's a serious problem, and we need to find ways to stop it.
This case with Jacqurlyn and Wren, it's just one example, but it shows how dangerous things can be online.
Yeah.
Like a wake-up call for all of us.
Absolutely. We all need to be more aware, more careful, and do everything we can to protect kids.
We can't shield them from the internet completely, but we need to find a way to balance, letting them enjoy being kids and keeping them safe.
Right. It's about finding that balance, and it's not easy.
Well, we've talked about a lot today, everything from Jacqurlyn and Wren to the bigger picture of child exploitation online and, AI and all that.
It's definitely complicated. There's no easy solutions.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But just being aware of it, understanding the risks and being proactive about protecting children. That's like the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. This deep dive has been pretty intense.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely made me rethink my own online habits and even posting pictures of my nieces and nephews.
I think that's great. It's something we should all be thinking about.
Yeah.
Even small changes can make a difference.
So as we wrap things up here, I want to leave everyone with like a question to think about. In a world where sharing is like second nature, you know, how do we find that balance between letting kids be kids and keeping them safe online?
It's tough. It takes communication and critical thinking and just putting kids' well-being first.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. It's a tough topic, but it's really important to talk about. We hope you found it helpful, and we encourage you to keep the conversation going. Talk to your friends and family about this stuff.
And share your thoughts online, too.
What did you learn today? What are you going to do to protect the kids in your life?
Let's work together to make the internet a safer place for everyone.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more, in-depth conversations about important topics.
We'll keep you informed and engaged.
Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.